Hello, flourishes, queenagers, all you incredible humans out there. I'm coming to you on Fluck Friday, and I'm sitting on my balcony. Apologies for any noise of trucks in the background. I've actually just been for a bike ride. I went to the supermarket, which is maybe a couple of kilometres away, and had this really beautiful kind of early morning um, bike ride in the fresh air. It's not too cold. I mean, I was wearing a beanie and I was wearing gloves and a jacket, but yeah, it felt just beautiful. And I'm watching the sunrise as I rode along and zooming along with my little electric motor. It was really fantastic. And I'm coming to you today in a jumper. We call these jumpers in Australia, and it is a woolen jumper. And I have had this jumper since I was 12. It is probably one of the few things that I have from that time in my life. And the fact that I have held on to it for so long, it still fits me. I mean, it is huge. I was pretty much the height that I am now when I was 12. But yeah, the style, it was the 80s, mid 80s, and the style was big sleeves like this. It's cable knitted. And I noticed that last year I was seeing these jumpers around. So I don't wear it very often, but it is something that I will be taking with me when I head off back to Australia. And I was wanting to ask you, what is it that you still carry with you? Something, is it an item? There's a story behind this jumper. It is Benetton, and in the 80s, if you know, they were really kind of out there with their advertising, and they had bright colors, and it's pink, and I've always loved pink. It is a wool blend, and which is a little bit scratchy for me, who is a little bit wool sensitive, but I can tolerate it for a while. I used to wear it with a shirt, and the shirt would hang out the bottom. That was the style in the 80s. It was like a tartan shirt that I had, I remember. I think there's photos of me in that. And I've held on to it because we bought it when we had this epic trip. My parents were adventurous, and we went on this amazing 4.5 month camper van trip around the UK, France, Italy, and Switzerland in a camper van, four of us, in the late autumn winter. So it was kind of like September to January, I think. And there's so many things I remember. I turned 12 in Paris. My birthday's in December. So I might have been 11 when I bought this. I actually don't remember exactly when, but yeah, 11, 12 age. And so it has been with me all that time. And I have kept it because of the memories that it holds, I guess, and the fact that I can still wear it. I can still fit into it. I can't fit a jacket. I used to have a jacket that had sleeves that I could fit it over, but these like wing sleeves are tricky in the jackets of today, where the arms are like this big. So it's nice to kind of like snuggle into when it's a bit chilly. It is slightly chilly out here on the balcony. So yeah, it is interesting what we carry with us and what we let go of. And I'm in that process right now where I am just letting go of a whole lot of things and looking at things in a way of, yeah, somebody else here can use them, and then all of those things in a different form will come back into my life in this, new home that we will have at some point in the beginning of next year. And it's exciting, that letting go process and that releasing and surrendering process that I feel we don't understand, or I certainly didn't understand how important that was. I would hear about surrendering and wonder what that felt like. And I don't know if I have talked about this story, but I had an experience when I was in Albania, with my son and his girlfriend in the summer, and we were in this river. It was just beautiful, quite sort of shallow, and it was close to the source, so it was freezing cold, and the riverbed had really lovely round stones in a light grey and white, and the water looked like turquoise in some parts. It was just amazing. And there were, as rivers are, there were like deeper little parts to it, and it was flowing quite quickly. And to walk out to sort of like get into the water a little bit, because the air was hot. I mean, it was like 35 degrees plus Celsius, and you had to kind of walk out on these rocks, and it was a bit awkward. And I mean, I'm not as young as I was. Everyone looked awkward, even the beautiful people. Not that I'm not beautiful, but you know what I mean. And it was awkward, and I was like, oh, this is weird. And I just thought, when I got out far enough, it was maybe about this deep. So I thought, oh, I just want to wet my whole body. And I lay down in the water, and I kind of just let the river take me. And it was safe because it was like narrow enough and shallow enough that I could like stand up at any time. But I surrendered. I surrendered to the river, and it was so easy. Everything, I just floated along. And it was interesting because I realized there were some women who were my age standing on the bank, and they were talking, and they were looking at what I was doing, and that I'd surrendered, and it was so easy. I didn't get stuck anywhere. My bottom grazed a couple of the stones, but it was just such an amazing feeling. And then I kind of arrived in this bigger pool of water, and I could sort of stand up and then just swim over to the edge and get out. And what an amazing feeling it was to just surrender, to just let go, look up at the sky, and just feel the river taking me, not knowing where. I mean, I kind of did know, of course, but it's that metaphor of letting go and surrendering. And it's fascinating because we have this kind of tension, or I have had at least, inside, where you don't want to let go too much because of fear of the unknown. Yet sometimes when we surrender and really let go, like fully, completely let go, we're safe. And of course, I'm in a privileged position. I will acknowledge that. I have a home to live in, and I have food to eat. And of course, from that place is where I am talking, that idea of surrendering. But it feels different. There's a shift inside of you, I think, when you surrender completely, and that the holding on means we don't have the space that we can sometimes need in terms of expanding. The more we kind of grasp and hold on to things, the less space we have, even though the more we accumulate, it's kind of like we shrink. And I'm talking about physical things here as well, that we kind of hang on to. And it's also a good metaphor for the emotional baggage, or the other baggage that we're carrying. The other thing this week is that I've spoken to some really amazing women for the Fucking Flourishing podcast, and had discussions about surrendering, about cycles, and about how many of the productivity books and so on aren't really written for women and our cycles, how the systems that we exist in don't support us, and how moving away and having conversations around that is really important, so that we know that it's okay to move away, and that there are other ways of existing. And how can we support each other doing that, moving away from this capitalist patriarchal system that we are in? And can we do it in a gentle way that is heart-driven, where we're staying open, where it allows for women to surrender without being scared, or feeling as if they're not going to be able to survive, which kind of, kicks us back into the whole fight-flight situation. So I will leave you on that note. I would love to hear from you. Do you have an item that you have from your youth? Maybe you have many. Maybe you have many, many. I've moved enough times that I've really got rid of a lot of stuff. But this particular jumper, and I know that if my mum is watching this or my sister, they will see this jumper and go, wow. Even a couple of my friends will probably remember it from when I would wear it back in the day, in the 1900s, as I like to say, or 1980s for those of you who prefer not to think of the 1900s. You kind of always think of the early 1900s. So yeah, that is what is happening in my head at the moment. Incredible. I'm about to have a day of cooking. I've got friends coming for dinner tomorrow, and I'm doing some preparation because I have that luxury today. Yeah, very grateful for that I am able to spend the time to do that and not have to rush home from work. I'm working from home, and I have scheduled the time to make some food so that I can do some other things tomorrow. I'm not rushing and stressing. So take care. It's a bit of a longer one today. Look out for the this week's podcast episode, which dropped. It is a beautiful one, a lovely conversation that I had with Sarah Rard, and there are many more to come. I'm telling you, there are some amazing women coming up. So stay tuned for that. That drops on Tuesday, and take care. Have a fan-flucking-tastic Friday and weekend. Bye.